All right, well, here we are, back in the outback. Fantastic stuff, I'll tell you what. As soon as I pulled up, the first thing, priorities, get the billy going. And beautiful weather. Middle of winter, you wouldn't believe it out here. It's absolutely beautiful for this type of thing. Anyway, going to get some painting done this trip, and obviously, and whatever else, pretty excited about it. Haven't done much outback stuff this winter, so, well, I have, but more on the river and whatever else. So I'm really ready to get into some of this pure arid country outback stuff. Right, let's get this cuppa going, eh? Alrighty, I can live there on the shovel. Okay. Just let that brew a bit. Alrighty. Well, we've got very good angles from this position. We're slightly elevated on a little bit of a dune. It's very flat country. It means I'm going to get a great sunrise and sunset. So the morning painting, I can really see what's going to happen. It's just so clear. It's such a big expanse of a horizon. Great stuff. Get some dinner on and then get an early night, I reckon. Got a lot of painting to do tomorrow, so best have a rest after that long drive and then get stuck into it. It's just so silent out here, it's unbelievable. No one for miles. Glow on the horizon, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Well, got that little piece done. That was a bit of fun. Nice clear morning. Plenty of time, I guess you could say, to consistent lighting to work out what I wanted to do. So I'm pretty happy with what's going on in my first painting for the trip. Got the good essence of light, and I feel like I've got a nice technique. So up close it's all about abstraction, but from a distance it's all about, well, the real image of a sunrise. Okay, one in the bag. Okay, let's get this cuppa on the go and we'll get in some breakfast. Oh, just love it out here. Talk about peaceful. It's peaceful, but at the same time it's where I get my best work. I mean, my most inspiration, even the isolation really focuses my mind. When I'm out here by myself, I feel like I can really get into the painting zone without getting sidetracked by anything, I guess. And that means that when my mind's totally focused on the one task at hand, and then you've got such a beautiful surround, beautiful colour combinations in the outback and whatever, it's just a great recipe for creating works of art. So pretty happy about all that. Can't wait to get stuck into the next one. First things first, a bit of breakfast and another cuppa. Here come a mob of emus to keep me entertained. What's really weird about emus, they're very inquisitive. If they see me look up, they'll run away, but if you stop and start waving your hand like this, they'll stop and then start coming closer as if there's something interesting. They're just sticky noses. So I'm going like this to try and bring them in. And it's working. Alright, we've got that. Now let's get this cuppa on the go. There they go. Yeah, see, as soon as I do that, they're like, what? We're not going to run away, hang on. There's something cool happening over there, and here they come. Unbelievable. Interesting stuff, eh? bit of onions, garlic, mushroom, carrot. Alright, well, just got that little one thrown together. The sun is just going down now, so this is a sunset one obviously. Sun's just was licking the hills as in the painting. She's just leaving now, last rays of sunlight, and ready for another frosty night. Anyway, I managed to get everything I wanted. Got a clear sky, excuse me. Got the recession of the hills starting slightly darker tonal values on this side, working its way to paler blues going back. You can see the recession in the sky, the keyed downness over here to really send that off into the distance. Then the foreground, a few flecks of really intense colour to give the illusion of near to far. So these strong colours really put on thickly really help the distance recede, so you get that beautiful depth and flow. Nice spearing accent through the centre. Well, there's a little bit of light spearing now too. Let's have a look at that, eh? What do we got? Can we zoom in? That's it, zoomed in. That is zoomed in. Oh well. You can see a little bit of light there anyway. There's a little bit of light. Just that last little bit looking along. So what do we got? Yeah, I've got those trees just lit up. Ting, 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 ting. I could actually put a tiny little bit more. Hang on, what do we got? What do we got? Just some white. Pure colour here to really make it pop. Just in these trees here. Not too much. Hang on, get this knife on the edge. Just a few little details like so, just to really pull that distant tree line. There's a bit of a creek line running right below the distant hills, the main mountain range. So just putting the refinement there helps to draw your eye in. So what we've got here is broad, not too refined, because this is a lead in. I want to draw your eyes to this middle ground subject, which is the mountain range for me. That's my subject. And so picking out some real fine details right at the base of the mountain range is a really good way to pull your eyes into the subject, purposely leaving other stuff here more abstracted so your eyes flow to the realism. Anyway, that's pretty good, I think. Let's have a look. Alright, well, we're moving flat out at the moment. A bit more to go, let's get into it. Whew. Well, she's just finished now, the light, but I feel like I've caught it. Actually quite happy with this piece. I intended on painting the hills that way with the sun shining on them, but when it happened is we got a bit of overcastness. So I thought, right, the hills are not going to light up. The only thing I can do now is paint the sunrise, and I'm glad I did. It's a beautiful combination of colours. I'm really happy with that piece. Let's have a closer look. All right. Beautiful. That's onion, carrot and garlic. Now throwing in some sweet potato and some pumpkin. Getting a nice midday feed happening here between paintings. Getting my major meal cooked now. So later on, I don't have to think about it when I'm painting, because I'm usually painting at the moment morning and evening when the light's really striking and colourful. So I get this done now, and I might just sit that on there for a minute. Whoa, there we go, look at that. Turn the heat up instantly then. We'll just go like this to turn the heat down a bit. Alright, there we go. We'll let that cook for a bit. I'll go get a tin of tomatoes, I reckon, and put that in there. Nice tin of tomatoes. Before that lid gets too hot, she's still alright. That'll give me the liquid sauce that I want in there. I might actually just drop it down a bit and that'll just heat her up a bit, closer to the coals. Stir that around. There we go. Alright, so like I'm saying, that'll keep me going nicely. Plenty of tucker in the midday. Then I'll get stuck into an evening painting. Alright. Like this. Almost forgot. Nice cup of tea here. Keeping warm by the fire there. Delicious. Little trick with that, I've got a few black beans or whatever thrown in, but to give it some nice flavour, just a little bit of con carne mix, chili con carne powder thrown in, and boom, fantastic. Beautiful stuff, got all the good gear in this one. Okay, I've had questions before about how do I attach my stretched linen or stretched canvases to my fold-up easel. Now, you've got the slats on the back that have been tech screwed onto the back, and then I just got a couple of builder's clamps holding onto the slat. Simple as that. So you've got the builder's clamp on the slat, tech screwed to the back of your stretched canvas or linen. Easy as that, and then you're ready to go. Alright, well here we are on the side of the hill. Afternoon light, got a fairly large canvas for the situation, and ready to go. Now I've got a bit of tape here across there to get it level. Now for anyone who thinks the earth's not flat, it's got a slight curve, when I pulled on the tape and got it straight and level, I actually just pulled it slightly and it put a slight bow in it. So there is actually a slight curve in this one. Alright, let's get into it. We'll get some cobalt blue, white, just a bit of magenta. I've got to grey that off because that's way too chromatically strong. Now I'm just going to establish, put a bit of green to knock that back and a bit of magenta in that blue, and that's going to grey it off a bit. You can see the palette there, good. Now I might weaken it later on, but I just want to get some sort of saturation on the straight up. Actually, to tell you the truth, right out in the distance there's a white salt lake. What I'm going to do, stick that salt lake in white. Why not? It is white, so put it in. Might alter it later, I'll just see how it goes. It's like that. You're right. Oh, what have we got there, eh? What do we have there? Right, now that tape's already done its job, so we'll take that off. Alright, just get a few darks in first. Go for some alizarin crimsons, burnt siennas, bit of Viridian green, whatever. Get it nice and dark. Just want to establish a few darks here and there. Work out what I'm doing and just try and feel the composition. That can be in there. Can be down in there. Like so. Yep. Around there. Before I go any further, just going to establish a bit of a line here. There's going to be a bit of a road in this painting. Just establishing a little bit of a line where I want the road to go right now. Just to get an idea. As it rolls off into the distance. That'll do. Right, let's get some stuff in. What are we going to do actually? Go for some white. Going to need more magenta in there than that. Magenta and burnt sienna. I'm trying to knock up a fairly neutral colour here. A bit more blue. White. Magenta. Burnt sienna and knock it back a bit. Lighten the value. More white. That in. Not quite touching yet. Got the knife upside down here. Just pulling upwards. What do we got out there? Yep. Bit of this and a bit of that there. Alright. Get that in. You can see you can put on heaps of paint pretty quickly with this technique. Just want them up to a bit more burnt sienna. I want to grey her off. Magenta. We've gotten a bit higher here. That will do. Might go a bit of alizarin crimson and blue. Get some white. That's the end of the grey a bit. Just want to paint a bit more red in that. There's some nice long shadows created by the clouds. They're scuffing along like this. It's a great way to, we'll just stick them in like that. Just readjust that, they can go a bit higher up there. A bit of a hill up here. Knock up some oranges. What are we going to do here? I'll get a bit of magenta, white, a bit of magenta and white just here to make a fairly light value. Keep going lighter than that. Right, that'll do. Some orange and white here. Half mix it with that magenta. Let's have a look at that. What do we got? That's too light. Well, let's have a look. Yeah, no, it needs to be a lot of a straight orangey colour, even a bit of yellow in that. Let's have a look. Just trying to get a bit of strong colours here. The colours are going to get slightly stronger later on, and I'm just putting a few of the oranges in now. I can see them. Actually, alter that with a bit of yellow ochre. down there. Some will be there. Bring some of these hills in. There's going to be a shadow there. More shadows there. Start getting some of them in now. Let's have a look. Right, now where was I? It's got magentas and I've got yellow ochres, half mixed. Bit of white with yellow ochre. All different coloured hills going on here, you see. White, yellow ochre. Get the general feel of the colours. White and yellow ochre. What do we have here? Some cad yellow, a little bit brighter. Hang on. Let's just clean that knife for a minute. Okay, white. Cad yellow and white, that's a bit brighter. Right, lighten the value a bit, add a bit more magenta, send it back, a bit of blue to grade up a little bit too. Go back into these distant plains here. Put those colours in. Yep. A little bit more magenta and blue as it recedes and sending it off into the distance. So. Seems to be coming together. Cad yellow and white, real strong. Make up some magentas and blues and greens and make a shadow tone, a cool shadow tone. Stick her in here. There. Some running upwards. There. Oops, you go a bit darker the value. Right, with clean knife, now I've got that blue that I put down before. Clean knife and rubbing back to the blue, see? Just like so, bringing the blue back to create some of those distant shadows. Right, here we go. Yellow ochre, viridian green, burnt sienna, more yellow ochre. What colour am I doing today? More yellow ochre than that. A lot more yellow ochre. Have a cat orange too, got to get the glow. What have we got here? Got the knife on edge. Knocking in some foliage now. bit more blue. Okay, we're gonna need some more white. What are we doing here? White, white, white. Going through paint like it's going out of style. Got this tiny little palette on the go. Ugh, squeeze the paint out. Tiny little palette for such a large painting, and a big palette knife. Okay, mix up this brood, heaps of paint. Right, what do we got? Sticking some of these colours in. Bit more yellow ochre. Ready to knock it back. Got a bit more yellow ochre in that as it goes down. It's a lot of value. Just need to clean that knife a bit. I've got some darker tonal values on there and too strong. That's it. Get them off. Soften, magenta and white. More white, white to lighten the value. Clean some of that off. Alright, so we've got a lot of those, got a lot of those tonal values in, all the cools. Now I'm just going to get a bit more of the light part of the cloud in. Alright, I'll just stand back and have a look first. Let's have a look. We'll use some white for a start and a little bit of burnt sienna, clean burnt sienna. If I can find some clean burnt sienna on this tiny palette. There we go. Let's see what I've got here. Mix that up. Drop a bit of that in. Pull that through. Just going to clean some colours here. We'll get some clean yellow ochre because I've got such a small palette like I was saying. I'm getting too much cold colours mixed up with the warm. Hang on, just grab a bit of paper towel. Too much cold mixed up with the warm and then I can't get my colours right. So now I've got some clean colours. Yellow ochre, white. Mix of that burnt sienna. Tiny bit of orange because the blue underneath, as I rub it across the top, you can see that the underlay is getting picked up a little bit. It was going a little bit green, so I've added a little bit more orange to try and counteract that effect. Alright, change tacks, get some nice clean white, tiny bit of yellow in it. Mix it in. That can be there. More white, maybe a bit of orange in that. Just got to work out where I want things to go. pull that down. Knife on edge. Drawing that distant road. Alright, keep moving around. What are we doing here? Let's get some more of that foliage. Throw a bit of magenta in that foliage just to knock it back a bit. Just here. Yep. A little bit more yellow ochre just to richen her up a tad. Pull through. Right, some pure white. Knife on edge. Just drawing a few fine trunks in here and there. The light's catching them. Might put a little bit of yellow ochre with that, just not yellow ochre, a little cad yellow. Just to give it a bit more sting. Keep working around, keep working around. Bit more yellow ochre in that. Well, the sun's faded out, but I feel like I've got the picture now. It was a bit of a race, of course. And right at the very end, all of a sudden, all the magic hour colours started coming. So I just quickly mixed up a whole lot of paint, forgot I had the camera on, started thrashing heaps of oranges and blue shadows and whatever else. Just at that last second, looked around and the camera wasn't on, was it? Anyway, it doesn't matter, it's on now. And look at what I've got. So, pretty happy with the whole thing. Got very subtle colours through here, a lot of distance. Lake Frome itself is glowing, the dry salt lake. The road's chuffing off into the distance. All very good. Let's get that camera off and have a look, eh? Before it gets too dark. Thank you. All right, well the camera's not really picking up the beautiful colours out there on the horizon. They're getting bleached out. That's the thing about photography, it doesn't always capture exactly what you're seeing. But anyway, pretty pleased with what I've got here. Fairly large one, but I've put a nice little, I taped it off and put a nice little slip around this one just because this is a fleeting moment and I've only got a few canvases left and they're quite large and I wanted to get that fleeting moment done in a few minutes or whatever, so I thought, well, why not just put a nice frame around it like so, that way it's taped to make it smaller. Anyway, pretty happy. Now it's time to pack up and get back down to camp. Okay. Okay, well as you can see, this is the morning shot. Thunderstorms everywhere. I didn't even think I was going to get a painting, but what happened is that there was a little bit of light on the horizon. I could see that maybe there was a chance it was going to spear under the clouds from the east and hit the Western Ranges, and it did exactly that. So I didn't have enough time to set up the camera because I thought I want to do a big one, get this done, fleeting moment, there's just no time to concentrate. So I thrashed it all together, and luckily the sun did come through right at the right time and lit up those hills, only briefly, for a second or two, which gave me the idea, well actually probably about a minute, gave me the idea of where to put all the highlights. And there's a beautiful display now of warm and cool colours. So sometimes you think, well, it's no good painting on an overcast day, but the potential can be better than a clear day, because on the clear day you get whatever colours, average. On these dramatic effects like this, you can get really dramatic atmospheric effects, I guess. So you've got all these dark clouds, and then if you do get the chance that the sun does spear through, it's way more dramatic than if the clouds weren't there. In saying all that, I chose, well, I've only got one canvas left, a big one. That's why I painted so big on a morning shot. All my little ones have been painted, my little plein air studies. So this big one, anyway, what I decided to do was tape the edges off, and then through the painting, so you've got the raw Belgian linen on the edges. It is clear prime, so it's got 3 undercoats, clear primer, so it's sealed from the oil paint. Then what you've got is all through the painting, you've got weaves of that raw linen, which connects, so it's like a connection all through the painting of raw linen, so it's almost like a minimalist effect. And all that helps to harmonise the picture. Anyway, pretty happy because I had to be really quick and spontaneous, and I just love working on site like that. All right, now let's get that camera off and check out all the colours up close. All right. Let's come in and have a closer look. Now, as you can see, what I was talking about, there's tons of that raw linen throughout the picture, like a web through the picture. And it really helps to bind the whole thing together as a unit, as a one. What you'll also notice is that with the With the thunderstorm sky, it was happening so quickly before me, I did not have time to intellectualise. I was just working by pure observation and knowledge, and just working, well, basically faster than I can intellectualise, and I loved working like that. You're just observing nature and you're working with the information you've already got in your head, and hopefully those years of experience, those combinations allows you to paint dramatic effects without it, just hopefully flowing off the knife, which it did. There's more of that raw linen showing through up in the sky also. Now at first, what I did is I stuck all the low-key colours in, all the browns and all the, basically all the foreground colours. Well, that was a lovely bit too, that magenta, that just little splash of magenta against the orange just to help it sting. Anyway, the foreground colours, the road, painted in low-key, all in shadow, and then the browns and the blues in the sky, hoping that sooner or later the high-key light would come up, spear under the clouds and hit the hills, and it did exactly that. And it only lasted about a minute or so, but it was enough for me. I'd already had the picture done enough. It was enough to get that last little bit of effect, so I was really happy that it happened. Anyway, there you go.